so much. I just want to take you through a simple journey, and this is the journey of Coliba. The word Coliba is an Hausa name for bottle, and it's a common name in Ghana and precisely in West Africa. But before I share the Coliba story, I would also like to tell you more about my story as well, because I believe that these two are interconnected. My story starts from the 3rd June 2015. On 3rd June 2015, which was a very awful day, something happened in Ghana. Over 200 people lost their lives to a major flood disaster in Accra. And the reason for this flood was because the main drainage systems, which were open drainage, were choked with waste. And 90% of this waste were plastic waste. Example of them is the one I'm holding in my hands today. It was a very sad day for me because not only did I survive this flood, but I lost my very best friend at this event. Prior to that, I was working as a senior software engineer with a tech company, and we had planned to go swimming, and this event really happened on that day. The problem has been cyclical in the sense that we have a very big picture of the problem. In Ghana, when I arrived in Nairobi here, I was looking for an open drainage. I didn't really see open drainage, but in Accra, over 90% of our drainage systems are open drainage. They are not covered, even in the main cities. So the wind and everything blows plastic waste into the drainage system and often leaves drainage choked. And we always have a yearly flood incidents when the rains come. And so this is also a bigger problem. And like she said, that we are generating 1.7 million tons of plastic per year, and we are just recycling just 2% of it. And the 2% recycled rate is recycled by people we never thought of. These are waste pickers, precisely women waste pickers. And they are women waste pickers because they are able to pick plastics. Men are mostly picking e-waste because the waste sector is gender-based. So this is a key problem. And as a software guy, I thought, how do I solve the problem? So I quit my job, and I started a company called Coliba. And what we did at Coliba, I co-founded it with a friend from Ivory Coast. What we did with Coliba is to provide a platform that will connect waste pickers to recycling services and recycling requests. Because the problem was that waste pickers were picking from the landfill. Most of them were having HIV, hepatitis, diabetes, because they didn't have the right recycling or safety materials. And even more importantly, the waste companies just pick the waste and burn them or dump them in landfills. There were no effective recycling program. So our platform was to merge this gap by providing recycling solutions to the tip of the finger. And also, even for those who don't have smartphones, can connect through SMS and voice in local dialects, such as Chi, Hausa, whereby they can actually request a recycling service. They can be taught on how they can segregate their plastic waste, and then most importantly, get paid for their recyclable materials. So it's very interesting that our model really engages with waste pickers, precisely women waste pickers. And this has also led us to building very interesting strategic partnership with key partners like Côte d'Ivoire. In Côte d'Ivoire, we built a key partnership with MTN Côte d'Ivoire, whereby people can have their recycle points converted into call time, or call it airtime, or data bundles. Or people can also have their recycle points in shopping vouchers, health insurance, and even also requests for a cash. Now, these wastes are brought by the waste pickers because now they don't have to go to the landfill. They don't have access to clean, non-polluted materials because in the landfill it's polluted and they are paid below the actual standard recyclable rate. But with Coliba, they are able to connect to the cleanest recyclable material because we connect waste pickers to the closest recycling point and closest request within 1 kilometer. The waste picker picks it up, gives you a point, and then the waste picker sells it to us at a much higher rate. We recycle them, and then we sell to plastic manufacturing companies at a higher price, and that is how we are profitable. So where we are as a business is that we've built strategic partnership with key telecom companies, and one of them is MTN. In Ghana, we've built partnership with Vortic. So Vortic is a subsidiary of Coca-Cola, and it's one of the bottling companies, one of the biggest PET, when I say PET, I mean soda bottle, PET bottling companies in Ghana and West Africa. We've partnered with them, and what we're doing with them is to build more recycling centers so that people can have access to recycling services. We're also working with Allianz Insurance, and Allianz Insurance is a German insurance company. And what we do with Allianz is to make sure that we provide insurance, not just to the waste speakers, because like I said, these waste speakers don't really have any insurance. They are not recognized, and most of the time they are seen as a threat when they come into the communities to pick from people's individual beings. So we're providing health insurance with the waste speakers we are working with, but also we are having people who sign up to the platform have access to convert their recycle points into insurance cover. But to go further, our partnership has also, gone further with Total. So what we're doing with Total is to see how people can recycle lubricant cans. So engine oil, whatever lubricant cans or plastic product that you have with Total can be recycled through our platform as well. How did we leverage on this partnership? For MTN, we realized that there was a need for them to connect to the environment, for PR and for markets as well. But for Vortic, I like to say the Vortic partnership was a low-hanging fruit for us. And the reason why it was a low-hanging fruit for us is because there's this huge wave of, the need to ban plastic. And so Vortic, being one of the leading PET or soda bottle producers, was looking for a way that they could rethink their business model or look at their value chain, and as well as their consumer production and consumer delivery. And we were the right company to build our partnership with. So what we're doing with Vortic is, again, to provide recycling centers across the country. Total is giving us a platform, so most of the Total service stations in Ghana, so we have 40 service stations of Total where you buy fuel. We have our recycling bins and recycling centers in these stations. And we are increasing that to 200 by the end of this year, so that people with a mobile platform can find the closest recycling centers near them. And with the help of Google Maps, they can drive, cycle, or walk there, drop it there. And these bins are also automated for them to have incentives as well. Allianz Insurance is also giving us an insurance cover through that same platform, whereby we're also making money as a commission as well. And these are some of the key partnerships that we have built. The lesson I've learned as a young guy who never knew anything about entrepreneurship, coming up from the software environment, I was even shy coming up here. I had to really take in a lot of breath. Yeah, so thank you. The key lesson for me is that I really thought if we need to build really good partnerships, I believe that we need to start with the low-hanging fruits. And for us, the low-hanging fruit here is that we have a huge opportunity in the recycling sector, in the sense that there's a huge debate on plastic, and the recycling companies and recycling startups can take advantage of it. So if you're here and looking at a way to partner with other big corporations, maybe start looking at what is really happening. What are the low-hanging opportunities for you? And also, we have to be very assertive. So as a startup, we have to say no and be clear about our no, and have to say yes and be very clear about that. Because dealing with these big companies has taught me quite a lot of lessons in terms of what we can do in the extreme and what we cannot do. I also like to say we need to avoid a fake it till you make it rule. So I don't know if some of you have heard about a story about a lady in Silicon Valley who promised to provide a vaccine that is able to cure a lot of, diseases, and just by the tip of the blood, they can, treat for it, not just HIV, all of the tests can be run just by a tip from the blood. And, Joe Biden and the presidents, everybody worked, but she didn't deliver. The whole idea was that she was faking it till she made it, but she didn't really make it. So my advice is, let's be honest, and let's not promise what we cannot offer when dealing with in partnership or when going into partnership. I also like to look at B Corp certified organizations. So Coliba we are about to be certified as a B Corp organization. We are going through the assessment project, and it's good to look at B Corp. So what I call B Corp organizations who just don't say, okay, I'm giving CSI, but most importantly, they are looking at their whole value chain, from supplier to the end product. So even our suppliers, are we dealing with suppliers who are women-owned businesses? Are we do we say, okay, we are not importing, but we are providing access to local companies to really supply to us? Look at B Corp organizations. They are very good organizations to look at. And then so there's the new shift of wind blowing. And that new shift of wind blowing is that companies are realizing they need to, like you see, sustainable development goals, big corporation companies, big 500 Fortune companies are looking at ways to include the SDGs in their models, in their business models. And I think this is the right time for us as startups. If you're a startup here or a small business, this is the right time for us to go out there because there's a new wind blowing. There's a paradigm shift. Let's better get to these companies, to this government. They are waiting for you to come to them. And as we sit here, my advice is as we go back home, let's get to these big corporations and let's make it happen. Thank you so much.